Do you have a struggling woodworking business? Well, if you do, then you probably need to change these 3 things. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the podcast, and in today's video, I want to talk to you about the 3 things that you might need to change if you have a struggling woodworking business. First of all, when we talk about having a struggling woodworking business, probably what you're referring to is that you have a tough time getting sales, okay? Most of the time, when I visit with woodworking businesses that are struggling, that's what they mean, that they have a tough time getting clients. So if you're having a tough time getting sales inside of your business, the number one thing that you probably need to change is your lead flow. This is simply the amount of leads that you're attracting to your business. And I like to say it like this. Let's say that for every 5 people that you talk to, you close 1 deal. But you only talk to 5 people all month long, and you only close 1 deal. Well, what if you talk to 50 people? You'd close 10 deals, right? If you talk to 500 people, you'd close 100 deals. So simply increasing the lead flow inside of your business is one of the easiest levers to pull to increase the sales inside of your business and go from struggling to thriving, okay? So how do you do that, Zach? That's the question, right? How do I increase lead flow? Well, you need a predictable marketing strategy. And if you don't know how to get that, be sure to check out some of the resources that we have below. The Handmade Business Secrets ebook, Handmade Hero Academy, for those of you that are just starting out on your journey trying to break past $10,000 a month, or if you're really trying to scale, check out the Woodworking Accelerator program. I'm working with around 33 clients across North America and helping them get a 10-to-1 return on their ad spend, okay? So that means that every dollar that they put into advertising, we generate $10 in revenue for them, okay? So number one, your lead flow has to increase. If you're having a tough time with sales or scaling your business, the number one lever that you need to pull is you need to get more leads. You need to talk to more people. It's really hard to hit 10 home runs if you only get 5 at bats. So if you want to hit more home runs, you need to get up to the plate more, which is having these conversations with more people that are interested in your product, okay? That's number one, your lead flow. Number 2, if you have a struggling woodworking business, this is probably the second thing that you need to change, and that is your sales process, okay? I see a lot of guys that have a really clunky sales process. What I mean by that is that let's say that you do get an opportunity to sell somebody. Well, you go and you work on a quote for 2 or 3 days before you get back to the client. Speed to money is so important. When you get an opportunity to close a deal, you need to get them a quote as quickly as you can. Once they agree to your quote, you need to get the cash as quickly as you can. So you need to convert that quote or that estimate into an invoice. You need to send them that invoice and get payment immediately. A lot of guys lose the leads because it takes them forever to respond to a lead. So let's say that you get a message on Facebook, you get somebody that calls you, somebody that texts you, hey, I'm interested in XYZ product, okay? A lot of guys won't respond to that person for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, if not the next day, okay? So speed to lead is really important. So increasing your response rate or the time per response. And then from there, a lot of guys take forever to get that person a quote, okay? If it takes you forever to get somebody a quote, they're gonna lose interest. You wanna get them a quote while they're engaged with you, okay? So speed to quote is super important, okay? So getting them a quote quickly. Then from there, once you get an approval on the quote or once somebody agrees that you get a verbal agreement, I wanna buy, how quickly can we get them an invoice typed up and collect cash? Because every step of the way, you could lose a deal. You do not have a deal unless somebody has put a deposit down on an order, okay? That's the only way that you actually have a deal, whether you've written up an invoice and sent it to them or not. So you need to streamline your sales process, and also free info here, inside of your sales process, you need to get really good at handling objections or handling concerns. Real buyers have objections. Real buyers have concerns. And so as you're talking to a client and they're saying, well, what about this or what about that? Or, well, I don't really know. It's a little more than we wanted to spend. Like, you need to get skilled and get crafted at handling these objections, and hopefully doing it without trying to just cut your price, cut your price in half to make it to where they can afford it. Whether you break that up into a payment plan or you offer some type of financing, you can work with third-party finance companies. Working and figuring out how to handle objections within that sales process is going to be hugely advantageous. And so number 3, if you have a struggling woodworking business, this is the third thing that you probably need to change, and this is your pricing structure. And this is probably where most people get it wrong. It's very hard to scale a business where you're selling really inexpensive items. I've talked about this a lot. I'm pretty passionate about it. The only way that you can scale a big business selling really inexpensive items, let's say $100 or less, less, or a couple $100s or less, is if you have a ton of volume, a ton of sales, and you can also cross-sell them into other products that you offer. But if you're gonna specialize in one thing, and that's typically how I recommend to start, you want it to be on high ticket things. What is high ticket? Anything that's $1,000 plus, okay? Let's just say, for example, that me and you both sell tables. My average table costs $1,500, your average table costs $700, okay? It takes us the same amount of time to build that table, okay? It takes us the same material cost to build that table, but I figured out how to position myself in the market to where I can charge over twice as much. Who's gonna win? Who can spend more money on leads? Who can spend more money marketing? Who can spend more money to get in front of people? I can, because I have much greater margins. And every time that I close a deal, I'm making so much more money. And so if you are just stuck on this hamster wheel where you can't seem to get ahead, that's probably why. Because you are priced too low for where you need to be. So you need to figure out how to position yourself in the upper end of the market, pricing your stuff higher and attracting higher quality clients, okay? A couple things here to attract higher quality clients. Really wealthy people, they don't buy stuff off Craigslist. They don't buy stuff off of Facebook Marketplace. They buy from legitimate brands. And so if you don't have a legitimate brand in business, you're gonna have a tough time attracting higher end clients. So that's one of the things that we help you do inside of the Woodworking Accelerator program, is build a legitimate brand, position you as the trusted authority in your space so that you can sell and attract these higher end clients. So with that being said, if you have a struggling woodworking business and you don't know how to necessarily solve a problem, drop it in the comment section below. I'd love to give you some feedback, work with you to help you find some solutions to the problems that you're having. But just a quick recap, you got to increase lead flow, you got to make sure that you have a streamlined sales process, and then you got to figure out how to get on the upper end of your pricing structure so that every time that you do close a sale, you're getting handsomely rewarded for it. If you want to check out some resources that we've got below, we got links for all of those things. But other than that, I love you guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.